Hey, what's up? So, The Acolytes, finally, the season finale just dropped on Wednesday. If you're looking for a review of the old show, you can go on YouTube and you'll find everyone talking about each episode and what they liked and what they hated. So, I'm not going to do a full review of the show. I'm just going to talk about one thing that I liked about the show. So, if I was to give this out of 5, I would give this a 1 out of 5. Because, yeah, it's not that good. But there are some aspects that I loved about the show. And most people have talked about it, but a lot of people haven't really talked about it. So what did I like about The Acolytes? For me, it was about the costumes and the set designs, because I'm a designer, I'm more of a visual artist. And I love stuff from Star Wars because they're given an opportunity to actually push their creativity into creating stuff that they can actually imagine. Because the Star Wars universe is one of those universes that encourages film producers to actually explore different options in terms of creative output. So for me, going into this, there are some aspects about the costume that I really liked. I don't mean the villain. I mean every other thing. There were details about the costume and the general design of the show that I liked. This show feels more of sets. They were performing in sets. It didn't feel as open as Andor or The Mandalorian, where it felt more like they were in the outdoor or they were shooting in the volume and they had that illusion of the outdoor. This felt more contained, everything felt enclosed, everything felt claustrophobic in design, in that everything just felt like a set. And for me, those are the details that, from a guy who enjoys visuals and how they were able to use like muted colors in order to, communicate in their film. I thought that actually worked really well. There's no way this comes close to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka, in terms of visual design and actually art production, that was way beyond it. It's one of the best shows out there visually, because they fully exploited the concept of scale. Now, if I look at every Star Wars production, I always look at one thing about the show in terms of visual, that gets my attention. When you think of The Mandalorian, everything visually from The Mandalorian is perfect. In terms of story, the last season was bad. But visually, everything is perfect for The Mandalorian, because it's one of those shows that you can just put on and just enjoy what they're doing with the visuals. Enjoy what they're doing with the costumes. Same thing for Obi-Wan, which people did not like. Same thing with Andor. Andor, in terms of production design, it was a standout in that they were shooting outdoors. If you think of the other one, which was the other one, Ahsoka, it was the sense of scale. You could just get an idea of how big things were. And for the book of Boba Fett, that was more or less Mandalorian, right? So for this particular show, the only thing that I took was just how, the sets were designed. Yes, sometimes they were not convincing that they were actually there, and you could actually tell that they were set, but there was an effort to actually create that environment and make the indoors, feel more like a Star Wars universe. And not that I've never seen that on other shows, I just love the detailing in this particular show. Apart from that, when you actually look at the story and everything else, it was garbage. It's not one of the strongest Star Wars. There are a lot of, it felt like a CW show. Outside the costumes and set designs, it felt more like a CW. It's written like a CW show. It's directed like a CW show. And it just does not feel as serious or as engaging as all the other Star Wars shows. Now, I said I'm not going to review it, but basically that was how I felt about the show. I know some people, especially episode 5, were complaining that they had a great fight, but then the scenes were too dark. But I thought that the dark scenes helped with the lightsabers. For example, when they cut down the trees, you could see the light within the tree trunks. You could see the lightsabers very well. That is what I liked, actually. While people are complaining about it, visually there are people who understood how to communicate visually, and that I appreciate about the show in general. So basically that's it. Thanks for coming in. Is there anything that you liked about The Acolytes? Is there anything that you hated about The Acolyte? I would really like to know what you specifically hated about The Acolytes. But for me, just the visual language in the show, I thought it was pretty cool. Not the best, but somewhere in the middle. I think for me, when it comes to the Star Wars show, the worst for me was Obi-Wan in terms of visual language, because it's more Mandalorian. It doesn't know what it wants to be visually. It's a blend of everything, which I thought was kind of weak. This one has its own defined, as I said, claustrophobic feel. basically that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. Thanks for watching this. Adios. See you on the next one. And please subscribe. Join the family.